This is the Raspberry Pi. I'm not getting any power issues on my monitor, so that's a good sign. I seem to have picked the right power supply. What I'm gonna do now is configure an SSH so that I'll be able to use my Mac here to remote into the Raspberry Pi. This is just gonna make it easier for recording purposes, for showing you guys what I'm doing. And also, I won't have to necessarily be typing on this keyboard and kind of this more unorganized stuff that's going on here. Apologies, this should be one of the last videos of me showing you my monitor here because I did get the SSH working. I'm going to show you a few key things I did here on the Raspberry Pi. An essential command to know is ifconfig. And that is going to give you your IP address. So since I am connected to the Wi-Fi, I used this address right here, this iNet IP address. And then coming back over to my Mac, you can either run a command in a terminal window on your Mac, or you can just go to go connect to server, which I already have open. You would type that in, your IP address that you got from your Pi over there. It's going to prompt you for a password, and it's asking for the password of that main Pi account on your Raspberry Pi. Even though I thought I had set that up on the initial configuration of our Raspberry Pi, it wasn't working. The password I was typing in wasn't working on my Mac. So I ran this command, the sudo raspi-config, and then this will open that. And you would just go right here to this first option. Okay, now that all of this configuration stuff is done, we have the Raspberry Pi up and running, we've got our SSH set up on our Mac. The next thing we need to do is start to learn Python. We're going to use Python in order to control these 40 GPIO pins. Listen up, ladies, if you express interest in something like this Magic Brush project, your husband will get you something like this instead of chocolates for Christmas. That's right. My husband did get me this. I was so excited about this because I've had this idea to sort of bring the Disney magic home, starting with this Colortopia project, and he got me this as a Christmas gift. And I just thought it was kind of funny how it kind of shows everything that's in here, kind of like, you know, your box of chocolates. Although I will say it really is not organized very nicely as a box of chocolates would be. I'm going to rummage through here and find all of the things that we need for this first step of turning a light bulb on and off using Python. We have everything we need here, along with what we'll run on our Mac, to light up this little LED bulb right here. I chose blue just because it's my favorite color. We also have 2 male to female jump wires right here, a resistor here, and a breadboard over here. Also in that RFID starter kit I showed you, it has this little grid that's gonna show us the mapping for all our GPIO pins on our Raspberry Pi. I did follow a great tutorial from pythonprogramming.net, and I'll put that link down below in the description about how to get this light bulb working. Just again, this is our light bulb here, and I will turn it on and off for you in a second. But one of the things I ran into that I had to fix was, you see that this is another LED bulb that I have. You see there's a longer and a shorter end. The longer end is the positive and the shorter end is the negative. The first time I tried running my program, I had the positive side lined up with the resistor, which is right here. This is our resistor. This black jump wire is our ground, and this is our power. Using this diagram here, you can kind of see why we plugged what into where. See that third pin down where our black wire is ground, and then 3 more down from there is pin 18. And again, definitely go to that pythonprogramming.net site for a more technical explanation of what's going on here. Next up, I'm going to show you how I created the Python file, which we actually ran to turn on our light. And I'm going to show you our light turning on here in a second. Here I want to show you my Python program that I'm going to run and show you how it turns on and off that LED light bulb. So if we go in here, and again, this is taken from that Python programming tutorial down below if you'd like to try this yourself. This line is really important because it's configuring that GPIO 18 pin that I showed you before on our Raspberry Pi grid, and it's setting it up to be an output. So we're going to be able to see that light output. Then this line right here is basically turning the light on, and it's staying on for 5 seconds. And then it's turning the light off. I've turned off the lights in my office for maximum effect of this blue light turning on and off. To run a Python file, the command is Python and then your file name. So I'm going to run that now. Prepare to be amazed. It feels like a long 5 seconds, but you know, that's really cool. I think I need to get a little more practice with more lights and more inputs, like maybe these buttons that are in this RFID starter kit. And I definitely want to put this to use because this will be really vital when we're actually trying to change colors on our paintbrush by dipping it into that paint bucket. So I definitely want to play around with this. So that'll probably be either later in this video or the next video. More playing around with all of this stuff to get more accomplished in it. And I'm going to kind of show you my work along the way. And let me know what you guys think, because this is a new format for me as well. But I think it'll be more interesting for you guys to kind of watch me go through the process as opposed to, okay, I did this and this is what happened. So I'm going to try to do a better job at that as well. So stay tuned and let me know what you think. So I was considering how many of these bulbs I wanted to try to control. And I think I have 10 of these jumper wires. Two are in use right now. So I think I'm going to try, what's that, 7 more bulbs that I'm going to try to control. And I'm just going to try to continue to follow this pattern and see what you can do. Maybe blink them on and off, do some kind of fun stuff like that. So I ended up with 8 in total bulbs because I only have, actually I have 1 more jumper wire right here, but it actually ended off in a good spot with that first row of GPIO pins, or first column. I mean, this looks very aesthetically pleasing and we'll see if it works. I'm going to verify that this blue bulb is still working and then expand upon that Python file that we wrote yesterday and see if we can get all the rest of these to light up. Awesome. Okay. So this means I didn't break anything with the existing functionality. That blue light is still turning on and off. So now I'm going to try to replicate this same functionality with the blue light to all these other lights to see if I hooked everything up correctly. I plugged in jump cables in all of these green pins right here, these GPIO 12 pins. It maps to the GPIO pins on the Raspberry Pi. Give you a better look there. So as a test, just to see if I hooked up an additional pin correctly, first of all, I established all the pins here. You can see 18 is our existing one that is working, that blue one, 23, 24, 25, so on. And then down here, I'm just copying that exact same functionality that we used with that blue bulb right there with pin 18. And I'm going to try it with pin 23 and see if we're on the right track. Okay, I saved my changes to that Python file and we should see the bulb connected to this green cable, which is our red one right there. We should see the blue one and the red one turn on. Yes, awesome. Okay, so since that appears to be working, I'm going to do the same thing in the Python file for all the rest of the pins. And we should just kind of see all of them turn on in succession. A few easy copy and pastes and we should see all these lights turn on, then turn off. Something kind of weird happened with these last two bulbs. And then there was some weird pausing in this middle section too. So I definitely think these two are hooked up incorrectly somehow. So at first I thought it could have been an issue with the bulbs, which I've now moved over here, but that doesn't seem to be the case because I ran a quick test with the red bulb over on this side and it lit up. I added these two bulbs to our Python program and hopefully we'll see all of these bulbs light up and we will call it a night. This looks great. So I would like to do one more test where I'm doing some fancier stuff with a little more logic around which ones turn on when and for how long. But I want to do that, and then I want to do some interactions with that RFID module that we have in our kit. And then I think we're going to move on to the next step.